We live in a time that's what?
I think we live in a time now where our cultures are cross-pollinating. Everybody's kind of meshing. You just got to play it safe. You know what to do and what not to do. You know what I mean? When you show up and you're like, I'm going to be, Run from Run DMC, and then you're in blackface.
Right.
That's a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't really understand why people did that. I don't understand what I mean, I guess it's a certain commitment to the costume, but I go like, who wants to run around all night with paint on your face anyway? You know what I mean? But that's why I also don't understand when people do like the full on.
I'm having this discussion with my daughter right now. She want to be Wednesday from the Addams Family. She watched the Addams Family. She's obsessed. Yeah. And Wednesday's complexion is kind of ghostly white.
Yeah. So you don't think she could do that?
And she was like, "Yep." She was like, "I want to paint my face white."
Yeah.
I'm torn because I'm black. I'm like, I wouldn't be offended if I saw somebody white doing it. And my daughter is obviously biracial, but is that whiteface?
No, but wait, hold on. You wouldn't be offended if you saw somebody white in face paint, black face paint for like some kind of character that wasn't African American, right? Like meaning like my my son will watch like Venom, right? There's the other Venom that's got like
and the Venom is black.
Right. So now if somebody's going as Venom, you wouldn't be offended by that. So why would you be offended if your daughter wants to be Wednesday, who's kind of like ghostly, kind of ashen?
But in theory,
because
she's
just white, right?
She's white.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So it's more about a plexion.
Venom's
Venom is like an alien
color. Yeah, it's like this black tar that. It's like a symbiote or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a little different.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my point is that if it were a ghost, right?
Yeah.
If she was going as Casper, and she wanted to be in whiteface, what would you say about that?
The whole face painting thing is very weird to me. Because like one year I went as white Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Because Michael Jackson, he was black, he was white, he was Puerto Rican. Right. He was different races. Right. So I went as white Michael Jackson. It was cool, but then a couple people hit me. I was like, it was kind of weird.
Really?
Yeah. I felt a kind of way.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
don't give a fuck.
I personally don't want to wear any kind of paint up my face.
Yeah.
You know?
Like one year I was Boy George, but I was a black Boy George with mascara. I had all the accoutrements of Boy George, but I was just a black guy.
Got it. Yeah, but I don't even know where that goes. Does that go to the white community or does that go to the gay community?
Both.
Yeah, I'm confused now.
White and
I'm
gay.
like totally befuddled.
Do you really want to?
I know who he is.
I know you do.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's 12.
Of course I know who
I'm
he
joking.
is.
I'm fucking with you.
But Eddie Vedder, I don't know who that is.
You know who Eddie Vedder is?
No.
Pearl Jam? You being serious?
Oh, okay. See, I know Pearl Jam, but I don't know.
No, but you could throw on like some torn shit and throw around your fucking flannel shirt around your waist with your GNR hat and your beanie shit. And you're back back in like 93, man. You know,
you're right there. I was testing out my wig last night.
I saw it. I saw the photo.
The wig?
Yeah,
that's probably a big day for a guy who doesn't have hair, man. Is you really get to I got to tell you, man, but as a guy who does have a full head of hair, I'm a little offended. I'm a little bothered by it.
That was very disrespectful.
Because you really don't have hair. Yeah. No,
it's like the Super Bowl for you bald folk, right?
The bald guys feel like, oh fuck, I get to rock out that wig and not get music.
It's so true,
bro. You can get all your joy in though in one night. Are you gonna wear a hat?
No, fuck no, dude. I was wearing the wig yesterday and I had it on for probably longer than I should have. And my daughter just looked at me.
You went to dinner with it?
No, my kid was like, Dad, it's getting weird now. She was like, it's not even Halloween. But when you don't,
you're like, I'm practicing.
Oh no, it was like shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like shoulder length, the curls were right. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what hair feels like. I forgot.
That's hilarious.
I lost my hair dude. I started losing my fucking hair at 22.
Well, if you grew your hair out, where would it be? On your head?
Oh, behind my ear. I mean, it's like.
Oh, really?
No.
Bro.
I got a crazy Dracula's widow peak. It's like my hair.
Yeah, so
my hairline comes here.
Yeah.
But this part.
Be Dracula for Halloween.
Oh, dude, it's like.
But what do you mean? It V's up like a
it V's up like this. I look like fucking Blade.
Did you see that photo or that night that Shaq? He kind of lined up his hairline as it is right now, and it was like,
oh, dude, no,
bro, it was the funniest thing ever.
But no, my hair will grow all over my head, super thick. But these two spots here, it looked like I fucking fell on the freeway. This shit is like,
bro, you have a good mohawk though.
Oh, I have a dope mohawk.
You would rock a mohawk.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Never too old for a mohawk.
Never too old for a mohawk. But no, I'm good with the balding. I'm gonna rock that. And plus, my wig fits a lot better. It's like RuPaul. RuPaul has a bald head. That's why his wigs fit. Yeah. It's your boy O'Neal McKnight. We're back with the Cray Show. I'm here with my co-host
Shawn Chase.
You can say my name.
Rob Weiss.
Say my name.
Rob Weiss. And we have the amazing, the talented. This guy right here has worn many hats and worn them extremely well. We got Affion Crockett in the building.
Yes, sir.
What's happening?
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother?
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, man.
You know, it's a crazy story about Affion. I'm just gonna jump into it. I knew him without knowing him because for me, my ultimate dream was to dance on Soul Train. It was like if you were on Soul Train and you were coming down that Soul Train line, whatever you do in life after that, it didn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
And I would watch Soul Train, and this dude would come out there dancing like he had no fucking bones, kicking his leg as high as this fucking ceiling. And then when I never even told him this. And I can tell him now because the first time I met you, dude, I was fucked up. Like, because, you know, I grew up in a small town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you get up every Saturday morning and in between that cartoon break, you watch Soul Train. Because
it's crazy, man. The amount of time I logged watching Don Cornelius as a kid, man. That was Soul Train. Right?
Yeah, Soul Train.
Yeah. That was.
And I was just thinking,
yeah.
but I was just thinking that, like, culturally, it's crazy because, like, I was a white dude in Long Island, and like I watched that show all the time, and I was like, that thing really transcended a time, you know?
Dude, it was.
Everybody watched it.
Everybody
kid,
watched it. And another sidebar story about Soul Train. You know, American Bandstand, Dick Clark. Soul Train was obviously, you know, it had everybody, but it was a black show. And you know, during that time, they were trying to compete with Soul Train, and they wanted to grasp that audience. So they came up with a show called Soul Conjunction. Uh-huh. And Don Cornelius, you know, with his baritone voice was like, you know, y'all motherfuckers can't do that. And it was like, okay, let's pull the plug on this. But Soul Train was very, very cultural. But
it was kind of crazy that it was on like kids programming, like you're saying. It was on early on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
So 1 minute you're watching like Junction, what's your function? And then you're into Soul Train.
Yeah, you see some ass.
Crazy, you see some ass. You see some ass. Now, when you were on Soul Train, who was the host?
Shamar Moore.
That's what I thought. Shamar.
Oh,
Moore.
crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shamar's cool.
Yeah.
Actually, Maestro Clark, when I first got there, was the host, and then Shamar came in and took over.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
the
cool,
latter
man.
years.
Shamar Moore's cool, man.
Oh, that's my guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
He was on a soap with my ex, man, with one of the girl I was married to. I think they were on. Shamar was on like Young and the Restless, something, right?
Yeah.
So it was a girl I was married to like 20 years ago. She was on Young and the Restless too, so I see him out. He's cool, man.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy. How did you get into this game? Because, you know, we talk about Soul Train, but obviously, you know, your comedy, your stand up, your impersonations, your acting, all the things you've done. Like, where did Affion Crockett come from?
I came from I'm an Army brat, so I grew up in Germany. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with hip hop. So to watch Breaking and Beat Street and all them, I watched all those movies in the 80s, like even the bad ones, like Body Rock with Lorenzo Lamas. You know what I'm saying? Because even though the acting was horrible.
That's not one of the bad ones.
He must have been in it.
Yeah, exactly. He produced it.
Yeah, but not exactly. But even though the acting was like, and the writing was just whatever, like they're just writing to get to the dance moves, right? But they had official dancers in there. Like the dancers was like, you know, Oz Rock. If you know who Oz Rock is, you know. But to watch these movies at a time when hip hop was still defining itself, MTV was still figuring out if we want to play black music, and you know what I mean. We had underground ways to watch music videos. Michael Jackson was, you know, he was rocking with the electric boogaloos and doing the moonwalk and the backslide and all that. So to see all of this stuff happen, that influenced me to want to dance. And I know you're a dancer too.
Yep.
But it influenced me to want to dance. And so I didn't have any aspirations to be an actor or comedian because I never thought I didn't identify with that.
Right.
We looked at Eddie Murphy because he was popping at that time too. He was a rock star. So we looked at him as like, oh, I'm a fan of Eddie. But this stuff that they're doing on the floor and this rapping on a mic, I can do that.
Right.
So we always was like trying to do those things. And that's what put me on stages first. That's what made me become a performer is dance.
Got you. So you said being an Army brat, obviously, when you're an Army brat, you travel because you're stationed in different places.
Yeah, we grew up in Germany.
I think I actually read that about that you were an Army brat and you know your family was stationed in Germany. The craziest thing is how many successful, talented people are the children, are kids who grow up on bases. Or you know who are Army brats, and I always go like, their parents have these super consequential, high stakes gigs. They're probably very disciplined, right? They're military personnel, very disciplined, very serious. But yet so many kids grow up to be comedians, entertainers, actors, and artists. It's really interesting, man. It's interesting to see if it's, it's curious if it's something that develops inside of you as some kind of response to such a disciplined existence, right? You know?
For sure.
Like an escape in a way, or...
Yeah, and then the other thing about the military life is you get connected and disconnected so many times because you get stationed in one place, you develop your friend base.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You get a crush on a girl, you're dating, and then either her family has to move and you never see her again, or you have to move. Oh, wow. So within that, and I didn't realize this until I got older, but that's traumatizing for a kid.
Of course.
So I did look for a lot of escapes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was dancing a lot, doing martial arts, and just doing these things. But
starting over sucks, man. When you're
starting
a kid,
over is a bitch, yo.
Yeah.
It's a bitch. But yeah, again, it made me who I am today, and being able to travel the world and meet different people. But within that, being able to perform. I was always doing talent shows. So when you start to see the connection of, I performed here and people who liked it. I performed overseas, people liked it, in this school and that school, and people liked it. So now you start to see, okay, maybe I have something if all these different people in different locations are enjoying what I do.
Right.
So when was the first time you realized, because I love your impersonations of people.
Yes.
I heard the Russell Simmons one in front of
Russell, Jay-Z. It's spot on. When did you discover that and you was like, oh shit, I sound like them? Because, you know, when I sing, I like to feel like I sound like Luther Vandross. But that is not true.
Right.
You like to feel like
I like to feel like Luther. You know what I mean?
Whether it's true or not.
Whether it's true or not.
Semantics.
I want to feel like Luther. When did you, like, you did a voice in front of somebody and it was like, oh shit?
It was my mother. My mother and my Trinidadian auntie. I would imitate their voices, and they would just start cracking up about that. And then I would imitate like British characters from Benny Hill, Tony Montana. So I just started doing that shit as a kid, and my mother would laugh and be like, "Man, you sound just like these guys." But again, never connected it to, I'm gonna make money doing this
exactly.
one day. But that's where it all started. It was around the house, just doing those voices, and then. And in school too, like I would imitate teachers, like certain teachers that had a distinct voice, and so everybody be in class, you know, before the teacher get there, and I would do the voice, and they'd be like, and then they're like, wait, what the fuck is the teacher? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so I was that was always my testing ground.
Yeah, were you like the class clown?
I do. That was my next question.
Well, I mean, I think it was an obvious segue, no? Luther,
fuck you,
Vandross. Oddly enough, I wasn't.
Really?
Because I was a new kid.
Man. I was the worst fucking student. I didn't shut the fuck up.
But did you grow up in Long Island in that same place the whole time? Like the same school?
I mean, I lived in Brooklyn originally. Then I went out to Long Island, I think probably around like 8 years old. Kind of went to school system there. I think I started in like, actually when I got out there, I was in second grade. No, so I grew up in Brooklyn until I was like, I think I was like 8 years old. I got out to Long Island, first, second grade kind of shit. I was in Baldwin. And then I kind of went through schooling there. Terrible fucking student. Like, then I got in some trouble in high school. My parents pulled me out. I went to a private school, Woodmere Academy in the Five Towns, and we wound up moving to Five Towns. I think I literally graduated that school with like a D- average. I think they wanted to leave me back as a senior and make me go to like summer school because I failed Spanish, but I think they just wanted me out of the school so fucking bad. They were just like, go. I was terrible, man. But again, you know, for me, it's just a lack of application. Like, I didn't apply myself to it, you know. To me, it was, like, more important to be, like, the fucking class clown. I even saw, like, in my yearbook, it was, like, they wrote, like, they do, like, a 10 years hence kind of thing. They were, like, Rob Weiss will be the last, I forgot what it is, but like, I'll be the next Don Rickles, and they left me an audience. So it was kind of like lets you know I had like a big fucking mouth in school.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
They wasn't fucking with the.
But your parent, like your dad, was the one in the military, right? Not your mom. Yeah. So he's probably not taking any shit. You know.
No, my dad was. He didn't take no shit. He was a fun dad, but you know, when he wasn't fun, he wasn't strict.
Fun. So my dad was a military dude too. My dad was 101st Airborne. Yeah, man. Like dad, military funeral and everything, man.
Oh wow.
But I just think that he just, you know, it'd be so easy for him to get consumed with other shit, and he had 2 other kids too. That I was just slipping through the cracks as like a fuck up. You know what I mean? But I wasn't like that bad of a fuck up because I would have caught a smack. You know, I wasn't like doing drugs and shit. You know, I just had a big fucking mouth. You know,
Still do.
Yes. Well, you know, trying to monetize that shit now, bro.
That's the shit that shapes us.
Exactly. Was being a military kid, did that bring you to LA, or were you like everybody else? Like,
oh no. There's a few there's a few steps in between that. So in the military cycle, we bounce back and forth from Germany to North Carolina. I'm from Fayetteville, Fort Bragg. Yeah. And so when I got back to Fayetteville the last time, they just kept sending us back because my dad is 82nd Airborne. So that was the main hub is Fort Bragg. So we sent us back the last time, graduated high school, went to college in Fayetteville. And while I was doing all of that in town, me and my brother and some of my boys, my dance partners, we formed a group and we started opening up all the concerts that came through Fayetteville. So we was performing everywhere, like all the arena tours, Queen Latifah.
How'd you guys get in on that? Like how do you open that? How do you?
We just started performing a lot around town. Like this is back when, you know, radios would have talent shows.
Right.
Radio stations would have talent shows and cash prize and all that kind of stuff. So we became those guys. We would win the money and then these bootleg promoters that was bringing all the people through with some drug money. You know how that go.
Yep.
And but they was bringing all the whoever was hot at the time. They brought them all through. From Pete Rock and CL Smooth, like I said, Latifah, X-Clan, like everybody came through the town. Das Effects, EPMD, and so we would open up for all these people, and that was the thing that showed. And then me and my dance partners went to the Apollo in '92.
I remember that.
Right.
I remember you guys on Apollo.
From all of that, it showed me that even though I was from a small town like you, a military town. I had a way to get connected to people who were really doing things. And it showed me that I could actually be on the same stage as them and have an impact and get a good reaction. And, you know what I'm saying? And so that was the motivation. And then Def Comedy Jam came around. So dance kind of phased out in my town and people were just getting into their hustle and drugs and all that kind of stuff. So everybody that used to be at the party dancing, they're not dancing no more.
They're not dancing no more.
So I'm like, man, what am I going to do? I don't sell drugs. I'm not a thug. I don't do none of that stuff. And my dance partners got saved, and they stopped dancing. They was super Christians at the time. And so I was like, what am I going to do? And I was watching Def Comedy Jam, and I saw Cool Bubba Ice. And I say his name in every interview. Cool Bubba Ice went on stage, and he was animated, moving around the stage, and did all voices, impressions. And I was like, oh, shit, that's considered comedy? The shit I've been doing since I was a kid around the house. I've been on stage my whole life. I've been on stage with Latifah and all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get on Def Comedy Jam. And that's when I decided I was going to start doing stand-up comedy when I was almost about to graduate from college. And I heard that they were doing, that Bob Sumner was going around and auditioning people at all the comedy clubs. So Comedy Zone in Charlotte. 3 hours away from Fayetteville.
Right.
I just took the leap of faith. I was like, man, I'm just drive up there and see if I can get on the stage during this Def Jam thing. But before the Def Jam actual audition, I went to the Comedy Zone, got on stage, and my first performance was dope. Like I did about 7 minutes. Yeah.
7 minutes?
And you felt good. That's
good. A long time.
No, the reaction was dope. I was a fresh face.
Yeah.
I did all the voices, and that's when Bernie Mac was hot. So I was one of the first comedians to do a Bernie Mac impression.
Right.
Fire Marshal Bill impression. Basically, what I ended up doing on Def Comedy Jam was what I did the first night I went. But I saw how people were digging it. They was like, oh shit, and it's a tough fucking crowd. Like, this is when the Charlotte Hornets really first got established in Charlotte. The Panthers were brewing.
Right.
So it was Tuesday night. It's the money dudes. Yeah. You know, they in there. Yeah. You know, they ready to go to strip club after. Right. So it's a popping ass room. That's tough to make laugh. You know what I mean? But I got them on the first one. And so that gave me. So even when I had
that's
bad shows,
got to give you a lot of confidence, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even when I had bad shows after that, I knew I had a bar that I could get back to.
Right.
The first show was
so good.
It was good. Yeah.
And so did Bob Sumner see you there? Or how did that work?
Yeah, he saw me there. I auditioned for him like a few months later. And he saw me, he liked me, but he said, you're not ready yet, but come back. And I took that. Most people would be like discouraged and give up on that. I heard that shit is, word.
Another chance. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go graduate from
Well, you're pretty new, man. Yeah,
back.
like, you're in like just on one like stand-up, right? That's the first time he did it. He's telling you that. I mean, it would suck if you were at it for 3 years and you said, you're not ready yet.
You're not ready yet.
But someday, you're like, fuck you, Bob.
Right.
You know?
Fuck out of here, Bob. Bobo.
Give a shit what you think.
So when you're creating these voices, are you borrowing people's voices? Like, what's your process? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of mental do you sound like them first in your brain?
I used to play music by ear. I still do. I produce beats and all that stuff, and I play by ear. I can't sit down and read music. You know what I'm saying? I don't know chords yet. I don't know that stuff anymore. As a kid, I did, but everything I hear is through my ear. So if I sound like a person in my head, then I feel like it's pretty close.
That's
dope.
You know what I mean?
It's the same thing with writing, man. Like, you hear it. It's like, you
hear the voices of the people.
You got it, man. It's like inexplicable, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like some crazy thing. It's funny, like when I used to write Entourage, I'd write it in like this coffee shop. And sometimes I'd say this shit out loud. I'd be like, right, it'd be like, drama, blah, 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 blah. It'd be like, yo, bro. Like, and it's just people looking at you like you're actually like hearing it.
You're living it.
Yeah, because you're in a flow state, man. So like if he's just riffing, you got to realize he's doing two things at once, right? He's recreating a voice that he hears, right, in his head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's creating the content. So he's doing context and content simultaneously. So, you know, you really think about certain layers that guys go through in a creative process. That's just, you know, it just stacks.
I'm glad you brought up Entourage, because now I'm about to shift the interview.
I'm not responsible for any of the bad shit. If you didn't like it, bro, there's a fucking complaint box.
Hands down, one of my favorite shows.
Oh, thank you, bro.
And here's why.
Thank you, bro. I did it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Take
joking.
all the credit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm joking.
But no. What made y'all give up so much game, like the Hollywood game? Because I realize most people watching that show don't really realize this is how deals.
That's
That's
how I
really
learned
have
how
that
the
shit
industry
works.
works.
Backdooring and all of the,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
how I learned how the
honestly,
industry works.
Then there's a point to what I'm going to say. When I got into business, it was off of having made a successful indie. By successful, I mean I made it for a couple $100,000 in New York. It was a Sundance competition film. And after that, I got a 3-picture deal at Universal. Gave me Redford's old bungalow. I was attached to American Psycho, ton of shit. And I kind of squandered the opportunity because I was so freaked out and paralyzed between the fear of like my own insecurities and the complexities of the town. And I tried to navigate.
Like imposter syndrome type of shit? You didn't feel like you...
I felt like
ready?
literally, I think when I was at my lowest career-wise, pre-Entourage, obviously, and feeling like I was persona non grata, I found like a packet of journalist responses to film screenings of Amongst Friends in New York, and it was overwhelmingly positive, where people would be like, oh, this guy's such a great young voice, or such vision for somebody without any like, you know, money to go do this, or resources, and you're like, but then if there's one person who'd be like, oh, this is derivative, you know, and there weren't that many bad ones, but I realized I'm like, oh, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that if 9 out of 10 people say positive things, I focused on the one negative.
Yeah.
So whatever, it was a lot of work. It was therapy, whatever, I unwound it. But the point being is when I got on Entourage and we would get into the writer's room and I'd sit with like Steve Levinson, who is Mark Wahlberg's partner, Mark's manager, he's my manager, one of my best friends, like the older brother I never had because he's always been that guy who's going to shut the fuck up, like kick me under the table in meetings, shit like that. But it wasn't until I got at that table where Doug had a really high Hollywood IQ, meaning like he'd really invested himself into the nuances and understandings of and the machinations of the business. He had made a couple short films that dealt with Hollywood also. So between the two of them and other people that were in the business sitting at the table, I'm like, I started to understand it for what it was, a business. Before that, all it was to me as a kid from New York was like passion, creativity, emotion, super fueled by emotion, all wrong decisions based in emotion, whether it was fear, whether it was ego. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Once you get older, now somebody who's in their 50s. I had to realize
the same thing. Yeah. Because coming into the industry as a young black man, especially, right? We lead with emotion. We got so much passion and creativity and emotion because we take everything so personal.
Right.
Because we dealing with rejection on skin color and other shit, right? And in the streets, right?
Yeah.
So no, I totally understand that. Yeah. Until I made the switch though to say, all right, I'm a product. We're all products.
Right.
And if they don't like me, they don't even fucking know me. So why am I sitting here crying about it? Why am I taking it so personal?
Right.
So no, I totally understand what you mean.
Well, also, but the language, you got to think about how far the language has evolved, right? Like, if I, at the beginning of Entourage and 04, started talking about branding, like, I'm a brand. People would be like, fuck are you talking about? This was only when it started popping.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I ever heard the term tastemaker was in regards to us, probably by season 2 or 3. Like, I was fielding offers for cash for like, and I've talked about it in here. Hey, bro, put Turtle in a Scion. Here's $50,000. Hey, bro, have him wear Axe cologne and get laid. Everybody wanted a piece of it, but branding started to become a thing. Marketing was obviously always there,
right?
But it wasn't part of the global vernacular the same way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, you were like an ad man, you knew it.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we all know it. We all know that we're products. We all know, and I think a lot of this, obviously, has grown with social media because you think about the presentation, right? You think about the optics. I don't like how that looks. You know what? This is gonna look shitty, but it's appropriate. You know, you make like decisions. So I think that once I started to build the muscle to understand what was going on around me and get out of me, it made everything better. Like, my fear of failure was so overwhelming at 26 after I made that movie. Again, it was super meteoric. I was, like I said, I was an underachiever, horrible student. All of a sudden, all my friends are graduating college, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, right? I was melting down. I'm like, I'm going to make a movie. Like, it was just like, and then I went and did it, and then all of a sudden people are like, yo, we're going to shoot you for jail. I got Andy Leibovitz shooting me. Bruce Webb is shooting me. Like, I'm doing all this crazy shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I can't do this again. This is like some fucking, this is like a miracle. And it wasn't a miracle. But at the time, you think like that, right? You get older, you're at a place you go, I'm going to go out there. Some of the shit I'm going to try to do works. Some of the shit I'm going to try to do isn't going to work. I will embrace the failures as I embrace the successes. And that's just process, So I think it's how we mature,
But just like Affion said, not to flip the interview, when I watched God bless his soul, Andre, my cousin Andre Arell, that was one of his favorite shows, and what he loved about it was his authenticity. And he was like, "Oh, and this is in his voice." He was like, "Oh, these white boys got this shit right."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he was like, "This is how this shit really move."
It really is.
And if you're not in the entertainment business, it teaches you, but if you're in it, you're sitting back like, oh, this is how this shit really works, because we navigate in that way. So like for you guys, and like I said, flipping the interview a little bit, when you was writing Entourage, obviously it was coming from a place of experience.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have there's different layers to that game, right? So if you're breaking a story, let's say Lev was using some Mark story as a template, right? Or a Leo story, right? And his name would come up a lot too. So you would take that, but that doesn't mean we're not infusing our own personal stories into that story, right?
Gotcha.
So our journeys are also being used. Mine, Doug's, we both had tasted failure at that point, In fact, most of the people on that show kind of needed that show as a break. Kevin Connolly was quitting the business, wasn't going to act anymore. Jeremy Piven was John Cusack's like fucking plus one, Yeah. Like, if you look down the whole list, like, everybody needed this, right, to be something at that time. And I think everybody put a piece of themselves into it. But again, everything was carefully curated, discussed. Like, we never just dialed shit in,
No, it was
a slow process.
Very well.
Thank
and
you,
again,
man.
For someone that has experienced some of that shit and just being in the industry 23 years and being in Hollywood specifically, I'm watching this show like, yo, they're really talking that shit.
Yeah.
And I loved it for that. I was like, I don't know if the general public understands how valuable
this
this
knowledge
information
is.
Yes.
Well, it was also just about, like, you think about it, it was like, hey, it doesn't matter. We'll go back to Queens. We always had fun. Like, I always found, even when I was fucking broke back then, pre-Entourage, and my career kind of bottomed out, I always had fun out here. You know what I mean? I was like, I had like a cute girlfriend. We went out. We had a lot of friends. It was like, life in Southern California is always pretty fucking good. At least it felt that way back then.
Yeah.
And that show kind of reflects that. Like, people say to me, like, hey, you guys are the reason I came out here. I'm like, man, well, don't tell me that.
Yeah, a lot of the, it's funny because like our generation loves it, you know, but now the Gen Z generate, like, you know, these kids all come up to Rob on a weekly basis. They're like, yo, that's why I moved out here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I learned how the game works,
the
and I moved out here because of the show. Where they were too young when the show was actually running, but now they're like, oh, I got this Bible that shows me how everything works. And like a lot of these kids, like, they rep themselves because they see, you know, like a lot of these TikTokers, they rep themselves. They'll come in and, you know, I was talking to one of them from the Hype House the other day, and he's like, I know how to be a star and how to rep myself. Like, why would I pay someone to do 15% it?
Well, that's crazy anyway, of course. You know, you don't need it anymore.
Obviously, anybody who's under the sun knows that Versus has been a huge thing for Swiss Beats and Timbaland. But what's been just as big as Versus is you and Spice Adams coming on right after a lot of these shows. How you guys get these outfits, put this shit together, and it's crazy to me because I'm now in the mindset where, as excited as I am to watch the Verses, I'm equally excited to see you guys. So how did that even start?
The Teddy Riley and Babyface Verses was where it started when, ironically, Teddy was doing what they're actually doing now. He just didn't have the technology.
He didn't have the technology.
But to have a whole setup, stage, because Tim and Swizz started that shit. Swizz was in his car. Tim was in his living room.
Yeah.
So it started scaled down. Everyone was like just in one location and just, you know, playing songs off of a system. Teddy was like, no, we're going to concert.
We're going to concert.
And now you see where it is. You saw they just did KRS.
Didn't Triller just buy it or partner with him or something?
Yeah, Triller's right?
But I'm glad you said that, to go back to Teddy Riley, because when Teddy was doing it, you know how we talk in the streets, like he was doing the most.
He was doing the most, and everybody said that.
He was doing the most. He was doing too much. He was trying to really give you a concert experience virtually. Mm-hmm. And now what he was doing, that's where we are with Versus.
Yeah, and so he was the initiator, but he didn't have the technology right. So it was all kind of technical issues, and they had to shut it down mid-verses, 3 songs in, and come back 2 days later to finish it up. So when me and Spice saw the debacle the first night, we was like, yo, we got to spoof this shit. We got to spoof it. And for some reason, me and him just happened to have closets full of clothes. We've never gone out and bought something to try to match anything, because literally we'll watch it as it's going on live and just start preparing. Like, I'm walking around my house with my phone like, okay, he's wearing that, I think I got something like that, and we're doing it in real time.
That's so
and
funny.
Literally by the time Versus ends, we're going live the second they go off.
Second they go off, and then your outfits, the color coordination. Because for me, I was like, okay, well, they just partnered up in some kind of way with Versus, and you guys got a stylist there.
Nope.
Like,
that's what I thought. I thought they were like affiliated with them.
There's no fucking way you guys can.
We've been
watch
talking about
this.
it for almost a year. Like Swizz and Tim are like, yeah, we need to make them the official after show.
They should. Hey, Versus, reach out.
We talking about it. I've spoken to both of them, so I've been in their back pocket. Like, yo, let's make this.
Let's make it official, right?
But we are unofficially the official after show. Like, everyone's tuning in. Even in the comments of Versus, people are like, oh, I wonder what Atheon and Spice gonna do. Like, the whole show,
That's so
you'll see us in the comments.
No, it's crazy because it's like, you guys, for me, you guys carry on the chatter of what Versus was previously. You know what I mean? It's like, as soon as it goes off, you guys kick in. So whatever banters happen between the artists, what kind of, mishaps or whatever, you guys spoof it.
You're with the funny reenactment of it.
And
we're saying what everybody wants to say.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Do you think, because you always had a lot of followers, do you think that really catapult your followers on social media to like, okay, now you're like over 1 million followers? Like, was that it?
No, what catapulted me over 1 million was the day me and Kevin Hart roasted each other. when he reposted, because I edited the video, posted it on my page. He took it, posted it on his page, and that night I went over 1 million.
Wow.
And then it's just been sustaining since then. And then me and Spice doing the verses, it definitely helped. Like when I go live, it helped that audience grow. Because you know how Instagram is, they suppress your reach. 1% of your following sees your shit. Yeah. Shadow banning, all kind of shit has been happening to my page. But when something breaks through, it just breaks through. You know what I mean? So it's definitely helped my live audience grow. And my followers too, but
O'Neal's increased my audience enormously.
He what?
O'Neal has increased my audience enormously by tagging me 350 times.
Oh, yeah.
In everything.
I'll tag that motherfucker.
I'll be like,
a cup of water.
Like,
a cup of water.
He's like, his baby girl.
Yeah. I'll get tagged. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh, this is cute.
Some people I tag because I know it fucks with them too, and I just do it.
I like it too.
But you're the ultimate connector.
Right.
You that's everybody knows O'Neal and he knows everybody, and it's something to be said about someone whose energy is always great, positive.
Yeah, exactly.
So tagging you, he's always promoting.
Everyone.
And
my barber the other day, he hits me up on Instagram. He goes, "Yo, can you tag me?" I guess this like legendary barber that's very respected. He did doing this like giveaway, and my barber's like, "Yo, can you tag me in this?" And I go and click on the guy's page, and the one mutual friend, O'Neal McKnight. I'm like, O'Neal's always that.
He's right there.
Right there, yeah.
You know what? For me, what I love about social media is like a lot of times you don't get a chance to see people, talk to people all the time. But I'm a true champion of supporting people. I'll tag shit. I'll see your shit. I'll screenshot it, and I'll tag it, and I'll tag you in it. I just love doing it because I just feel like when you see somebody doing their thing, attempting to do their thing, or trying to get in the right place, and if you got a voice this big, why not add another layer to it and shout it out?
Of course.
And that's what I love doing. But what I love watching is your dance videos and watching this whole other generation of kids partnering up with you, dancing, doing this shit. Like, do you guys? How does that even work? Do they reach out to you? You reach out to them?
It's a little bit of both because I never want to be the old guy that's looking down on the young people, saying, "Oh, y'all not doing whatever."
Right.
I find genius minds in these kids. Some are horrible, right? But that's like some people in our generation are horrible too. Like every generation, it's never about how old someone is, where you're from, what era you came from.
Right.
There was always garbage next to brilliance, and the same holds true today.
Of course.
right?
Right.
So there's probably nothing sadder, really, than somebody who truly wants to be great, deserves to be great, and who's not great.
They're just not great.
Yeah.
Either you have it or you don't.
Sucks, man. You know?
One of my highlights from just knowing you over the years, when I lived in Koreatown, and I used to do this shit all the time. Like I would go to the garage and dance. And he DM'd me and was like, "Yo, dude," and we haven't done it yet, and we will. He was like, "Yo, we got to do a video." He was like, "Yo, you really can dance. Like you can dance."
I didn't know.
He didn't know because a lot of times people don't know I can really, really dance. And I set up this camera one night. Everybody in the neighborhood was looking at me like I was crazy. But when I looked out, everybody was at the one. I was playing like some Fred Astaire shit, and I was dancing. I had on the crop pants like Mike and the whole shit. And he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, bro," he's like, "Oh shit, you can really dance."
Yeah.
And I was.
What do you mean? I get O'Neal. Me and we were all in Vegas doing an episode, man.
That story.
Dude, we're at some pool party.
Pool party. I was just about to tell that story.
I don't even know what was playing. What was it, man? It was like some like not Rihanna. Like what was it? It was
I forgot what it was.
Song, no, but he was just out.
But O'Neal's just doing his thing.
And he's got his cigar. He's doing people around the pool,
and
just kind of watching.
Yeah, everyone was watching him, and they're videotaping on their phones. Like,
they thought it was Alfonso Ribeiro.
That's hilarious.
Leave it to Rob for the jam.
That's great.
But no, that's how you can tell a real dancer. Like, it doesn't matter the song. He's gonna get up.
No, he was moving, man.
And
he
really
inspired me to get off my ass. I was laid out on Shay's Lounge. I was like,
teaching Jay some moves.
Teaching
Jay moves.
Yeah.
But no, you got footwork. You can tell when someone's footwork. If it's legit, how they place it, how they time it, what the rhythm is.
Right.
That's why I hit you. I was like, yo, you really rock. I didn't know you rock.
That like I'm one of those guys where like, dude, I admire people from all walks of life. You know what I mean? And like for me, I was like, oh shit, Affion Crockett hit me up. And like, we cool. I see you around, but it's like you can be
friendly. He acknowledged it.
Yeah, you can be friendly. Yeah. It's like Rob and I are now friends. If I write something and Rob hit me back like, yo, bro, that shit was good. I'm gonna be like, shit, this motherfucker said my shit was good. Like I'm, I'm still in it like that. You know what I mean? Rob giving me that look.
What do you mean? I send him an email draft to edit. He'll be like, "It's good, go." I'm like, "Nice." Yeah. It wasn't. Didn't need any edits. Nice. I'm improving.
Send it out, Shawn. Put this one to the presses.
You gotta do the Jay-Z voice. Like, do you warm up?
I'm only doing Russell. Today, because of your relationship to him, and that's why I met you guys. I met Rob.
Oh, you know what, man? You know what? Let's have this. Let me. I'm missing a piece. We talked to Russell, and I'm missing one little valuable piece.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you could just pretend to be Russell.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll. It's a whole different conversation, but we had a conversation.
Yeah, it's always different.
So Russell said he was going to be open. I like Russell. Much respect.
I am Russell. So
okay. Russell.
So you like me?
Russell.
Sure.
Russell. Let's just talk about the last few years of your life and where you've been.
No, we're not talking about that because it's my business.
And because I promised my daughter I wouldn't be.
I've been in Bali. I've been getting zen, doing a lot of yoga. Eating well off the land.
What do you think about cancel culture, Russell?
What is that? I don't know. Fuck cancel culture, you know what I'm saying? You can't cancel me. I've been here forever, you know what I'm saying? College Queens. Can't cancel me,
I mean, it's kind of fucking close. It's a little bit close.
I disagree, Rob.
I was like,
I'm still here.
I said, Russell, let's talk about like allegations, and he said, would you ask Joe Biden about allegations? Would you ask like who is it? Justin Bieber? I was like, fuck yeah, I would, bro. 100% I'd ask him. Why wouldn't I ask him?
And I told Russell, I was like, no, Rob would fucking ask.
For me, it's a personal relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the same way I would treat a brother or a cousin,
right,
if they were going through some shit,
exactly.
I'm gonna reach out and have a conversation,
right?
Just to see where their mind is, see, whatever that conversation needs to be.
Right.
If I need to cuss you out, if I need to support you, if you need to cry, I'm not gonna get online and all of a sudden, if motherfuckers know that we fam and I've been rocking with you for over a decade, I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna get on when someone's going through something
and then fucking throw them under the bus.
Why the fuck would I do that?
I think it's vile, man. I see this. By the way, I see this every day, dude. I'm not even start naming guys, but there's like huge Hollywood actors.
And there's a lot of people.
They roll over on their best friends who are also huge Hollywood actors that names sound like and fucking no, he's fucking guys.
And for me, what I'm saying is because I'm in the business too, and if I'm going through something positive or negative, like I feel like we don't owe it to anyone to have to talk about it publicly.
Right,
I agree.
If you're going through anything,
I agree.
There's no law or there's no thing that says just because you're a celebrity that you gotta explain that shit.
If
you might be dead ass wrong. You might be dead ass innocent. Either way, it's your business. You know what I mean? So that's just my thing about it.
We were talking about this earlier, about Dave Chappelle, which is, dude, that's my guy. I think he's fucking amazing.
Likewise. That's my guy.
How did you feel after watching Closer?
Look, Dave is Dave. He's an artist.
The Closure. Sorry.
No, the Closer. Yeah,
The Closer.
I'm a comedian, so I'm gonna always err on the side of
free speech.
Me too.
And all of us.
And we walked the line too. We walked the line. We're edgy.
That's the way it's
we say what's on our and look, he has a point of view. They have a point of view.
Exactly.
So the same way they have the right to say how they feel and how mad they are at him, he has a right to say how he feels. Because what I heard him say was just his perspective on.
That's what I said. I didn't see anything. There was nothing in that inspired me
to hate
or influenced me to hate or to react
or
against
to
the
kill
LGBT community.
Yeah.
There was nothing in there for me other than to go like, oh, that's his perspective.
His perspective, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a comedian and I say whatever the fuck I want to say. I have compassion for people.
Right.
I have tact with what I say, but what I'm gonna say is gonna be truthful.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be funny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm saying it on stage.
Well, I think that buys you a lot, right? Like if nobody's laughing,
it's supposed
you gotta,
to.
But it should buy you something. Like I watched it; it was a funny fucking stand-up. I don't care if I laughed at a lot of it. And a lot of it I thought was poignant and insightful too. You know what I mean? To him and his perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are just in a society right now, an environment where everyone just wants to be overly sensitive, and there's no taking it. Everyone takes themselves too seriously. In a sense. I say what I say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just try to say good shit, man. You know what I mean?
I say whatever I say. It's gonna be good or bad. Take it how you take it.
At least it's gonna be your truth.
Exactly. And if we use Kanye as an example, cancel culture doesn't mean shit.
Of course not.
Because Kanye could go do he hugged Trump with a MAGA hat on one day, and everybody was like,
obviously, I mean, this is a much longer conversation, man. It'd be great if you come back again and we could chop up that. But I think if you could go direct to an audience, then cancel culture doesn't mean anything. If you need you need NBC to keep your show on the air, you got
to apologize.
I'm sorry.
You train with Hegan?
I do, yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's cool.
You know, he's nice.
Oh, really? You roll too, man?
Not with rolling, no. But I do know Hegan, though.
Oh, yeah.
But this motherfucker can jump up and kick the top of that tree.
Bro, I mean, he's a fucking dancer, bro. He better be, man. I'm sure he can, yeah.
Affion, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Affion, bro. Thank you so much.
You got to come back again soon.
Yeah.